Hi YouTube, Darth here. This is Over Your Shoulder, a video series where I follow around unsuspecting players and give unsolicited advice and commentary. The idea being that we can all learn from our mistakes and from our successes. Enjoy! Spinning, spin, 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 no whammy, stop! Alright, we're going with Bona1805. Let's see what we got here. Looks like an M60. UCAV. Laser sight. Not sure about the underbarrel. Could be stubby, could be something else. Now, I'm not sure how he got back here, but I'm guessing an air taxi. But it looks like we're trying to back cap Delta by surprise. Now, given the amount of armor that's going to be around here, I pretty much want to get in that building as quick as possible. Now, since he's not an engineer, I would probably be calling in my squad asking for somebody to spawn engineer right now. And you can see that tank pulling up right now on the minimap, and basically there's nothing he can do about it right now since he has an UCAV and no C4. And it looks like we did get a teammate to spawn, but as a sniper, which is... And that recon's not going to be terribly useful unless he's willing to kamikaze with C4. Ideally, if you were this far deep in enemy territory, I think what I'd be doing is playing something that could deal with all kinds of different targets. Clearly didn't see that enemy, and now he's going to pay for it. And yep. Alright. Back with Bona. Bona? Alright, looking at the minimap, you can see that somebody's over there taking a look. And at this point you don't see him over there, so he either must be on the roof or he is down below. Let's go take a look and see if he's down below. Oh, haha, surprise! He's actually on the ground, getting knifed. If you notice, there was a point at which the flag also stopped moving, so there might be another guy around here, so it's worth keeping on your toes to look out for him. An enemy tank nearby. This is one of those maps I think I would just play an engineer on, simply so that you have ways of dealing with all of the armor, all of the helicopters, just all that stuff that's on this map. Especially when you don't have C4, it's a bit of a risky pick at being support with as much armor that's around on this map. At this point, it looks like his team's pretty much cleared up at this point, so it's time to move on. Whenever you cap a flag, you should be thinking about what your very next move is, whether it's going to be trying to clean up enemies that have made it into your midst, or if it's going to capping their next point. Since he's on the US team, this isn't as big of a risk, but if you're playing Russian and you're crossing this road in this particular spot, you definitely want to be careful because there's always armor coming out of the enemy spawn. In general, I'm never a big fan of running across big open spaces without cover. Maybe lay off the trigger a little bit more in the future. So it looks like he's using incendiary grenades, and I'm not really sure what the play is putting them there. If your goal is to deny the enemy that particular location to attack you from, why not use that as a benefit and look in the other direction for a short while it burns? And though it's tempting to shoot at helicopters with an M60, all you're really doing is showing yourself on the minimap. So he's doing a really good job of bursting targets at long range with the M60, and like any MG, you want to use it pretty much try to burst it as much as possible. Because those guns kick and spread like crazy, the last thing you want to do is hold down the trigger like a bullet hose. You still haven't seen that UCAV get used, even though you know there's plenty of armor on the map. He could at least be harassing that stuff. Good job leveraging the assets available. You always want to try and grab a transport if you can to get to the next available location. Alright, looks like we're heading over to Bravo to help team out. Kind of dangerous rolling down the main road here, going into so much armor. So in that case, he held down the trigger, panic fired, and got himself killed. Even at close range, where the ballooning matters a little bit less, you still want to try and exercise some control. Alright, back with Bona. Bona. We'll just call him 1805 from now on. Doing a good job supplying teammates with ammo. I would just like to point out how absurd it is that that structure's even in here and you have to do that. I mean, at least make it a little bit more obvious. Come on. Alright, finally get some use out of the UCAV. That car might have made it a better target because you're probably more likely to take it out. But if you're going to keep it equipped, at least get some use out of it and, you know, make your job easier for your teammates against their armor. See an enemy over there to your left. Here's another example of holding down that hose a little bit too long. Now, if you had sort of controlled your shots a little bit more by bursting, you probably would have come up with that guy. There really is no easier target than a parachute. Good use of the minimap, trying to figure out where enemies are, chasing them down. Always plus. Maybe should have been a little bit more ready for that guy, but the big bullets of the M60 still come up with the win. And again, we see the bullet hose. I think if there was one thing that I would practice, it would be to try and control those shots more with the M60. Should probably think about a reload right about now. There we go. It's always important with guns like the M60. They have really long reload times to find a nice safe spot to reload. You see there's a little 4x4 coming up. Probably make an easy target. Good on him spotting stuff for his team. Alright, now you see that tank in the distance. Probably not a great idea to walk across here, and yep, we pay for it. A better idea would have been to go back behind the rocks, use their cover, and then pull yourself into sea that way. Alright, I'm back with 1805. Let's see where we're heading here. Looks like his team's pretty well in control of this map right now, from what I can see, if we're pushing over onto sea. Nothing on the mini-map except over at Echo. Probably want to handle this with a little bit of care, play it slow. And you're going to want to play it slow simply because you have a lot of enemies across the road, there's no cover, and you have no friendlies across the road. Some better bursting there. Didn't come up with anything. Kind of an interesting move holding the bag to the spot that you need it, but it's just as easy as throw it where you want it. That was a freebie too. Again, a better grenade choice in this case would probably have been the RGO, or possibly waiting to throw a grenade and see if you can pull off the shot first. That guy's gonna get taken out by the AC-130 if he doesn't do it. Probably chasing this kill just a little bit too far and a little bit too long. And in the process of chasing that kill, you also exposed your back towards Echo, which is overrun with enemies currently, so you could have been killed. Always try to be thinking about where you're exposing yourself. Exposing yourself. Trying to get some of these out of the UCAV, not so much. So here's a bit of advice. Why would you run over open ground when you have all this lovely clutter to your left that you could be using? You might be, putting yourself in a better position, but ultimately you're exposing yourself to a huge amount of fire right here. I'm never a big fan of running over open ground, so I try to find as much cover as possible. Loitering in the open is also a very effective way of getting yourself killed. Alright, looking at this, he's got all kinds of action over here and no friends, so you better play this super slow. By slow, I mean find some cover and try to pick off as much as you can. Good use of the mini-map. Laid on the hose and paid for it. Gotta burst those LMGs. Alright, I'm back with 1805, recapturing Charlie after it was taken earlier. Plenty of enemies in the sights. So with all the action you can see on the minimap, I would definitely be paying more attention to that right side. So this is like one of the few places on this map where that incendiary grenade will actually help him out. It's particularly useful in tight spaces where you can funnel your enemies into a location, and not particularly useful on large open maps where you might be fishing for a kill with an explosion or something like that. And now we're having to take cover from this tank, and this would be a great opportunity if only he had C4. Firestorm has just enough locations like this where there's rooftops you can throw C4 off of, or these little tight alleyways where C4 would just get you so many extra vehicle kills that you wouldn't otherwise get. Laying on that hose again. Now, I'm not saying you can't get kills this way, but you can obviously get more if you control your shots. There's two things about the hose that get you in trouble. Number one, you're not being very efficient with your kills. And number two, you make yourself a big target on the minimap for any tank to come along and blow you away. So at this point in the game, you should be analyzing in your last few plays what worked and what didn't. Are you going to cross that big open field again if it got you killed the last time? This is part of the reason why I like to take recordings of my own play, even if I don't use it in my videos. Analyzing them later, I can see the common mistakes I make. As I was saying, you should be analyzing what worked well in your last couple of plays and what didn't. That UCAV is really not getting them any kills at this point in time, and that tank is a much bigger target and threat. I'd probably be switching to engineer, or at the very least equipping some C4 if you really want to play support. I mean, if you wanted to keep both, you could even say, ooh, maybe I'll get rid of that ammo pack. Pick up some C4 instead. Run with the C4 and the UCAV. Yeah, you give up the ammo, but how many times does he completely run out of ammo in this? Here we go again, big open area, not really using the cover. You got teammates in front of you, maybe you come up okay, maybe you don't. Again, we saw the tank in the distance. You remember what happened to this guy earlier? Could happen again. Alright, doing the safe play, coming around the side. Looking for some easy flank kills. Alright, setting up, waiting for this guy to come through here. Oh, anticipation. Now all those guys on the minimap suddenly disappearing sets off alarm bells in my head. I don't really want to be in this spot. And there you go again. There's another easy C4 kill for that guy because that tank has made himself a very vulnerable target by putting himself between two places he can't get out of very easily. Good kill, but now the enemy knows where you are on the minimap. In my mind, this is time to relocate. Nobody's taking the bait though, so that's good for him. And while we wait here to die, there's that tank still there. Now if he had C4 here, he could throw a few satchels over the wall and boom, that's a dead tank. He's having to constantly look wall to wall, see where the action is. You know, hope nobody comes the other way while he's going over it. Thankfully in that case he got lucky. The enemy that came around the corner, not as good a shot. Or maybe wasn't expecting him. Just think, how easy would it be to C4 that tank right now? That high value target tank. And it looks like here he's trying to take that weapon and switch through the kit, but he failed to pick it up in the first place. And that's a good thought. If you don't have the kit to deal with something, see if the guys that you kill do. Now the tank's on you and you have no way of dealing with it, so what do? You die. Alright, Bona's back again, just like in 1815. Let's see if we can finally get some use out of this UCAV. Dun 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 dun. UCAV overshot. Boom. Yeah, here's an instance where having the airburst unlocked would really come in handy. Ladder's the ultimate bane of any video game. At this point, this game looks like it's pretty much a blowout. His team's managed to capture the rest of the map and they're down to 1 point on the enemy team. And even though it might look safe, you should still play carefully. Bona did a good job there of preemptively looking down sights just in case there happened to be an enemy hanging out over here. Because there's honestly nothing more rage-inducing than finding an enemy in the middle of all your teammates where there shouldn't be anybody. Especially if you're unprepared for them. Flag is safe, point is captured, time to move on. Alright, now we're dancing around in here for some reason. And all the prime real estate is over at Echo. Like you might get 1 or 2 trailing in once you've taken this point, but they're going to be slow or they're going to be with armor. Neither of which are worth dealing with at this point. Oh, is this it? Is this finally where we get a UCAV kill? Ooh, nope. Yeah, at this point I would really just be throwing in the towel on the UCAV. That would be fire damage. I kind of wish there was a separate indicator for that, because it's really annoying to think you're getting shot, but you're actually not. Thankfully the tank's distracted with all of his friends at Echo right here, but again, this is another spot where you're going to cause yourself problems by just standing out in the open. What are you going to do to this thing? At least he's managed to turn off his laser for this purpose of this. This is what lingering in the open gets you. You start getting into trouble and they start shooting you and you're spotted and you pretty much kiss your ass goodbye. Alright, back with 1805. Looks like the enemy team has finally pushed up and tried to take Bravo. We spotted a single guy over there, and there's another one. Doing some decent tap firing in that case and managed to come up with him, so good job in that case. Now all you need to do is apply that to every situation and you'll be coming up with a lot more kills. So that right there to his right is literally the best rocket launcher in the game. There's no reason not to pick that up and get a free kill with it. All you have to do is stay locked onto your target and it will pretty much one round any helicopter, any plane, whatever you like. So here we try once again with the UCAV, so good on him for constantly using the gadget when it's up, but I don't think he's going to manage to come up with anything. Nope. One idea to try before just throwing out the UCAV is giving your map a look and seeing if there's something spotted that might make a juicy target. Those tanks, boats, planes, whatever, are going to make a much easier target than any random infantry running around on the ground are going to make. Or, you know, if you have your battle log open, use the battle screen. So we hung around to see a little bit, and now we're heading towards Z to get the cap. And since you're on the point here, there's really no reason not to stick behind that cover. Now he's panicking, he's out in the open, and unsurprisingly, he gets killed. So it looks like 1805 took a look at his map and has noticed that the enemy team has taken A's, so he's taking a transport chopper to get over there as quickly as possible. And looking at the minimap, it looks like there's plenty of enemies to notice that you're coming in here. Since you're almost certainly spotted, it would be a really bad idea to try and peek that ledge right there. Here's another situation where he's out in the open and he's exposed. He may be on a roof, but there could be snipers in those other buildings that you have to keep mindful of. At this point, I know that I'm not going to take this by myself, so I'd probably be calling to my team or my squad to help me out. Yeah. Here, in this case, I would probably go and look at the back end of this building, see if there's anything that can take care of that right there. Oops, yep, you got that opportunity. And there you go. Free kill. Obviously, when you have the time to think about it, bursting is something that comes naturally to you, so you should definitely give it a chance more often when you're up close. Really good tap firing at the long range, just needs to learn to do that more at the close range. Oh, so much. Chomp, 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 chomp. Feed the pig. Oh, please just shoot through that fence. Yet another good circumstance for C4. Oh, that's another good thought. If you know there are enemies above you, you should be mindful that they can always drop C4 on you if they are recon or support. I know where you are now. Time to run. Oh, you're in trouble. Yep. Alright. We're spawned on a teammate that's prone, and we get killed. Really take a minute to look at where your teammate is. If he's prone, don't spawn on him. It's never a good idea. Apparently we're going to wrap up this round with C-130 footage. If you can get into the third position in C-130, it's very much the best position right now with the way that they tweak the C-130, or the AC-130, excuse me. Yeah, the second position is decent for taking out vehicles and not much more. So that concludes this round of Over Your Shoulder. Bona1805 had a nice kill streak there at the end, but could have definitely improved the performance of that game by switching it up to C4, tap firing more, and not running across open ground so much. Bona1805, good job on helping your team by dropping ammo and playing the objective. Definitely don't need work on either of those. If you liked this episode of Over Your Shoulder, please like this video. If you'd like to see more Battlefield videos in the future, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.